Morning everyone.
During parking mode, motion detection recording over 10 occurred.
It is a Monday morning.
Continuous recording will now start. On your smartphone, connect to a Wi-Fi network whose name starts with Thinkware. GPS connected.
It is a beautiful day, nice and fresh. So let's discuss the weekend. My God, so it really didn't go to plan. It is icy this morning, the cars are frozen, the temperature has plummeted, and we've got the possibility of snow this week. So Saturday was a bit of a bust. Now, we didn't get a Mini finished, mainly because Neil's moved on to the Mercedes, the A220, the brand new one. Now the new Mercedes has the E-Class style dash, and that has the screen at the top, controls in the middle, but it's not actually the radio. The radio is hidden down above the driver's side feet, and it's like an upside down single DIN radio with no face attached to it. So the Mercedes has a basic system, which is 4 channels, 4 speakers, nothing special, nothing important, and you basically just test a simple meter test and like pulse generation onto where the speakers are, and that's how we determined where the speakers were in the car. So we did that. So we found our 2 rear speakers, which we needed, and that's going to be our entrance into the key, a left and a right channel, so it gives us a stereo input. Neil ran the power and earth and everything else ready for the boot where the amp was going to be installed. So, you know, as near as damn it, a really straightforward normal install. We plugged in the key, went through the processes. What you basically do is you find a high volume on a normal stereo without distortion, and then you play the kicker gain match track for the key 500.1, and you basically press the key button for 3 seconds, you get 3 fast flashes, and then in that moment you then turn the gain dial up until the kicker key gain match light comes on, and that means you've reached peak match. You know, that's where it's kind of matched to the head unit, and then you back it off just slightly so the light goes out, and that tells you that you're at the perfect volume, the perfect level. Then you switch to a sweep track for the kicker 500.1, press and hold the button for 5 seconds. That then comes onto testing basically the frequency of the head unit. So it runs from like 20k to 20 kilohertz, 20,000 kilohertz, to measure what the stereo can and can't perform, and what the sound is like on the factory EQ. And from that, kicker does its little diagnosis of how it's going to sound, and then it adjusts the amplifier accordingly to give you the best performance of bass through a factory or non-factory system, whatever it is. Doing this, we've had this issue before, and I'm yet to figure it out. And I'm professional, so I know what I'm doing, but I still don't understand the process. Every time we do a 500.1, we seem to come across this weird issue, or some weird issues. So in doing the initial process, we were trying to match the gain coming out of the head unit, and we weren't getting any light whatsoever on the key at all, nothing. Full volume on the key gain, the gain knob, we were not getting a clip light on the gain mat, on the 500.1 kicker light was not coming on at all. So it then trips you over into failing the process of trying to understand then the sweep track and everything else that goes on. And this has happened a few times, and there are weird little quirks with it. It's a brilliant amplifier when it works, but I have a real issue of trying to understand how to get it to work. And we have done it on other cars, and we followed the same rules and same instruction, and it sometimes worked and sometimes failed. But on this one, I don't understand why there's no lights, so I need to speak to Kicker today to figure that out and see why it failed. But we basically spent so long, and then installed another key, another 500.1, because I had 2 of them in stock, just in case we had a faulty amp. I went through the process again with the spare, same thing. Couldn't get the light to come on. Didn't know why the amp was not processing, but we couldn't move past that first step. We were on this car then trying to figure out like what was going on with it until probably 7 o'clock at night. So we were there for an extra 3 hours messing around with this key 500, trying to figure out why it wouldn't process. We went through the basics, checking power feeds, checking voltages, checking sound, checking signal, everything we could do, like connecting the signal up to a separate speaker, checking that we had both left and right channels, that they were full range, even to the point that I dismantled my Kicker kind of board at the back that I listened to my own music on, and we plugged in the little sort of CA amplifier that I run a sub, you know, to test on. We run the Mercedes inputs into the like cheaper amp, connected up the power, we had the sub playing. But with the key 500.1, it would not work with the Mercedes system, and I don't understand why. But it basically cost us 3 hours of the day, which we didn't need, because the Mini never got finished because we were pissing around with the Merc, and I was really frustrated, really unhappy. So Saturday turned out to be a complete bust. Wayne came and looked at the Mini, and he was super happy about all the stuff that we'd done, but we were nowhere near finishing, and it was just a bit of a letdown, because I kind of worked myself really hard to get it all done, and then to have it fail because of something else, you know, out of our control, was a real frustrating moment. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I need to speak to Kicker and figure out what's going on. I'll have a word with their technical department today, but I've asked them to simplify the key 500 setup into a video so that we can follow it, or understand where these little nuances and little tricks and tips, you know, we don't understand the ins and outs of their product fully, only they do, and it's their education and their training that helps us as engineers to do a better job of their products, and at the minute that's lacking. So I need to speak with them today, and we need to get something sorted on that front so that we understand and can figure out more about how things are, you know, not really working, which is a trouble. As well as that, we went out, me, John and Don went out Saturday night, and ended up at a club. We had a blinding night, and I strolled in, I think, at about 4 o'clock on Sunday morning. So Sunday was a bit of a write-off because I was hungover, but wifey unfortunately had to look after 3 children because I was pretty hanging out my own ass. I feel a bit more human today, which is great, and I've got Nicholas's Honda in. We've got to do an airbag check. There's an airbag light this side that's a sensor's gone off or something's failed. It's either passenger seat or it's going to be the A-pillar or curtain airbag, front left to rear left. And he wants me to put some dynamite in the boot because the Kicker the Kicker system that we've installed in there is now rattling the car, and we need to silence the vibration. As well as that, I did go and look at a car on Sunday. We did go and look at the 4x4 that I'm interested in buying. I've had a good look over it. It seems like a blinding deal. Spoke to the guy, we've agreed on a price, but I just want to take it out and drive it and just make sure everything's okay. So fingers crossed, this afternoon at about 3 o'clock I'll be going to pick it up, or going to drive it, and if it's all good, pay the guy some money and we will have a new car. My head is spinning. It's Monday morning. Obviously the shit has hit the fan. I'm disappointed about the Mini, but I need to try and get that done today as well. We are so close, and I'll show you when we get to the shop how it's panned out, as well as trying to sort this stuff out with Kicker, which is going to be, I think, a fun one. But for now I need to get some breakfast. I'm outside chatting to you lot because I've got so much to tell you. We are on 1849, I think, on subscribers. So everyone that's pressed that button down there in the corner, thank you very much. If you haven't, give it a press, support the channel. It's times like this that I need all the help and support and kind comments, because I read them over the weekend, and it did lift my spirits massively. I was feeling a bit down and a bit beaten at the weekend, I must confess. Saturday pissed me off, because when I don't understand something, it gets really frustrating. And there's nothing worse than knowing 26 years of experience with audio equipment and you've got a problem that turns out to be, I don't know, something technical, something computer, something digital problem that it doesn't get, that I can't understand, and then I can't do anything to fix it, which makes the problem even worse, because you just feel like a bit of a you know, a spare part, like you're not doing your job properly. So it's frustrating, and it's something I need to tackle. Today with Kiko, we need to have a word with them and see how we go about fixing it, and then we'll get the car back in, we'll get the Mercedes back in. All the wires and everything are done. Obviously we just haven't got the equipment in the car. So the gentleman was super Callum, I think it was super cool about the whole situation. You could see that we were trying to get this thing to work, and it just wasn't having a bar of it. But we're going to attack that again today. So I will come back to you when I get to the shop. We've had some breakfast, and hopefully we'll have a new car on the channel. We'll have an answer for why the Key 500.1 didn't work, and the Mercedes will be on its way to being finished. I will see you in a bit.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Morning everyone. We are digging in. First we'll discuss in a minute. Here's the Honda. So I've run through the first checks of scanning the car, getting the codes off the car, blah blah blah. We've done a battery check on the car. I've taken the battery out, we've done a static check, and then I've put it back in the car and we've done another check. Weirdly enough, things like ECU faults and, you know, the most random codes and problems sometimes are caused by a funky battery in a car. So obviously we've got our voltmeter hooked up at the minute, but we've done tests on the cranking amps and the stability of the battery, and at the minute it's saying it is a good battery. It still has life. Look at this. It's what you get thrown in a nice car, unfortunately, in Swindon. Some absolute penis has keyed the whole side of their car, and it's sickening because these guys really care about this vehicle. It's their baby, and that's just, ugh. I'd like to find people like that and cut their hands off. But anyway, I digress. So we're in here today. Now, weirdly, I'll run through this in a minute, but weirdly, so this is the SRS plug, okay? Now we can run tests on the car, and basically I cannot get, by wiggling these cables, I cannot get the airbag code to come on just by moving the plug around or wiggling these cables or doing a bit of investigation work myself. I cannot trigger the airbag with, you know, just moving the seat or rotating this plug. Everything seems to be normal under here. Now, I removed this shielding, which is just factory standard plastic conduit, okay? And as you can see, from end to end, there is no damage on this conduit at all, right? It seems perfectly safe. There's nothing wrong with it. But on further inspection, if we go onto the loom itself, now I'm going to do my best to kind of show this, and I hope I can see it with the GoPro, but we have got, can you see the blue just here? There's damage to the cable, and the green, and also the red just here. There's little white bits of cable. See if I can show, and the black. You see the little white lines? So where the red is crossing the black, can you see that white scar? So this loom has been trapped. Right, now this is obviously from factory, from the car being built. There you go, look, there's a better look. From factory, this loom has been trapped. The outer shielding is fine, there's no damage to this, but these have been caught. Now, in speaking with Honda, they've basically said, get the car booked into us and we'll do some diagnostic work on it. But what they've basically come back and said that if they need to replace this whole left-hand side loom, which is around about £1,000. Honda will not cover warranty on this because the car is over or out of its warranty, but that is definitely a problem where the vehicle is being made and they've trapped cabling whilst building this loom. She did say to me as well that it has happened before, that they have had to replace you know, looms on cars because they have had some vehicles have had loom traps. You know, it unfortunately nothing is perfect. You know, occasionally you are going to get problems, but they have had a few that have been damaged. Now she did say to me that Honda will not warranty this because it's 2015, and obviously it's now 2021, nearly 2022, so it's a 5-6 year old car. They're not going to entertain a freebie, but they may do some goodwill gesture and repair this a bit cheaper than they should do. But generally I cannot get this airbag light to come back on, even by wiggling these cables. So I don't know whether that's caused something, you know, an igniter in the seat or whatever as a problem. In future, obviously this thing is, I doubt these guys are going to go and send this thing to Honda and spend £1,000 on a new loom. I can't see that happening, if I'm honest. But what we may end up doing is, for the sake of MOT testing, we can certainly put a 2-ohm resistor on the line that basically says that the airbag is connected, but in actual fact it's not. Almost like a steering wheel, you know, when you put an aftermarket steering wheel on a car, you get the airbag light on to say that the system is not active because the steering wheel is missing. Well, we can do the same thing with a seat, but obviously the guys bravado, they know what, you know, what the risk of having a system is involved where parts of it's are missing. You know, the seat would not be firing should the event of an accident happen. I'm guessing this has got an airbag inside the passenger seat in like the shoulder area, so if in fact there was a side impact, it would deploy and kind of protect the passenger side on, as well as the curtain airbag at the top. The seat airbag deploys to protect you from the side of the car, so that would in effect fail if the airbag light was on, or it might not, but it might, you know, it's to warn you that the system is not happy and there is something afoot, and to get it investigated. But I'm going to go back to Nicholas, see what he wants to do with it, and we will reconvene with regards to what we're doing. But I'll let him have a look at this because obviously that is not quite right. Now, from my opinion personally, that's Honda's problem, that's not his. He's done nothing wrong to this, that's the loom being caught. But you know, are we going to get any joy out of Honda for that and freebies? Nah, I doubt it. So let's move on to the elephant in the room, this bad boy. Now, I did get so close with this on Saturday, as we discussed this morning. The majority of stuff is ready to go. We've got this side amp in, that side amp in, the LEDs are in here, the LEDs are in there. I've started putting in the 8.9 bit and the power distribution, and we're basically doing the signals in and out. That's the LED cable. We've got our speakers in and out, speakers in and out, that's left and right. We've got our outputs, and that one there is the outputs from the 8.9. So we are on the way to making headway, and pretty much other than building a board, connecting up these cables into this amp and actually powering the system up, putting the seats in it and tuning it, that's how close we got on Saturday. But the Mercedes put a halter to that, and I've sent Kicker a message this morning, and I'm waiting for them to get in and give me a shout so we can run through some technical bits and figure out why both of these keys did not work. Yeah, why we had a problem with both of them, I don't know, and I'm really keen to sort this out. It's not how can I say this, it's not anyone's fault, as in everything has its own nuances and stuff that we need to figure out, but as engineers we need to know why things fail or why they don't work. And having the Kicker key manual, if you've ever read the 500.1 manual, it gives you instructions on, you know, pressing this key button, and then this light here giving you flashes and telling you what's what and how blah blah blah, how it sets up, and it gives you about 3 or 4 reasons why it would fail and how it would fail and what the lights mean. But other than that, it doesn't go into detail on, you know, what to expect. It's Kicker holding their cards quite close to their chest. And what I want to do as an engineer, and I do love Kicker products, I'm not bad mouthing the company at all, but we need to know, we need more training, as in if these things fail or if they don't work properly, what to look for and how to fix it. And in the manual, it doesn't say any of that. You're left guessing. And I say, we spent hours on Saturday even wiring this one up. So we had this CXA 400.1 that worked in the car, and we got bass out of the subs perfectly fine. But with these, they could not understand the processing. We couldn't get the gain match to work. The sound sweep then failed because the gain match hadn't been done properly, and the sound that came out of both amplifiers was garbage. And that's what we need to rectify, is figure out why that failed and understand why it failed. It's the end of day for Monday. Let me tell you where we are, which is not a lot further. So basically, let me just shut up the chaser. We have new problem. So we finished everything as far as setup was going. Everything was all wired in, and then all of a sudden we started losing sound through the car. What it basically turns out is on the head unit, pulling out the screen, and the head unit is actually facing up and down. It's like a non-screened radio, like a chassis, single DIN chassis. It's missing a rear output. One of them has gone down. So we have some kind of sound, but not a decent sound, which is a problem. So I didn't go for the head unit first off. I went for my wiring and my equipment because of the hell of a weekend that we had. So I basically stripped everything out, went through all the cabling end to end, trying to find the problem, and the last thing I checked was the stereo, and it actually turned out to be a channel missing from the stereo. So the stereo's lost one of its rear speaker feeds, which is not brilliant. Anyway, that's now got to go back to BMW because he's only just bought this thing. So they're going to have to warranty his stereo, and we'll fit another one. They've asked for me to return the car back to standard, or asked for the customer to return the car back to standard so he can take it back to them and they can do a warranty job on it. Obviously that's not going to happen because it's me and I've got the car here in bits, so I'll do what I need to do to the car first, and then they can have it stereo removed. I'll take it out and give it back to them. So the Mini for now is staying in here until I'm finished with the setup and got everything happy where I want to go. So we made about 3 steps forward and then we made about 7 backwards. So this is my work today. Was pretty much ready to go. Start the tuning, start the processing, put the interior back in it, and then we're good to go. But that has not happened. So unfortunately, yes, we shall not say any more on this. Kicker have just come online, so I am just about to have a phone conversation with a lovely guy called Jacob in the States. I spoke to Aaron Mallin, and he's put me on to Jacob, and we're going to have a conversation in a minute about the Mercedes and figure out what went wrong with the Key 500. So that'll be this evening's entertainment. And then also new toy. You know, I picked it up. Here it is. So this 4x4 I've just picked up. It's got some big tyres on it. Mitsubishi Shogun Equip. It's a sport 2.5 turbo diesel. It's got a nice interior, runs really sweet. It's really clean paintwork wise, it just needs a wash. But other than that, yeah, this is the new work bus, which is gonna last the winter without the chaser getting salty. So although today has been a bust, a bit of a problem day, can't do anything about it, and I'm not going to beat myself up about it. We're just going to carry on, move on, keep working at this thing and get it plugged away and get it sorted. So I am packing up stuff. I'm going to head home. and then I'm going to jump straight on the phone and have this conversation with Aaron, not Aaron, with Jacob, and figure out what went wrong with the key. And from there, we will hopefully have an answer tomorrow morning that I will be able to come back to you with and go, right, the reason why it didn't work is because of this. But I can't fathom it, why, or if I'm doing something wrong with the setup. We shall see. So apologies if today has been a bit of a talky talk video. I hoped to have some more information for you with regards to work and completing the Mini and so on and so forth, but it just hasn't happened, and sometimes that's just the way the cookie crumbles, unfortunately. I'm annoyed by the whole thing because, you know, I don't like having problem jobs, but unfortunately we need to go one step at a time, and at the minute this thing's fighting us, and so it's not leaving here until it's right. So that's my task, figuring out what's wrong and having a plan of fixing it. So we kind of won on the car front. We've got a new vehicle to take home, and I won't be riding the Segway in the frost and snow that we've got coming this week. But other than that, I'm done for Monday. I'm going to shut up shop and get myself home. I'd appreciate some comments in the comment section. Let's have a little chat. Let's get communicating in the chat section. I don't want people going, oh, you know, you're the best, Alex, yada yada yada. I don't need that. I just, you know, it's nice to see that you're enjoying the videos, sometimes as difficult as they may be, and awkward as they may be. But we keep struggling on. We keep trying. Haven't really got anything else to tell you other than that's that. Monday's done. We will start again tomorrow. Tomorrow morning I have got a lovely lady coming in. We've had her car before, her Mazda. Actually it's her fella's car. He's got a Mazda MX-5. We've done bits and bobs on it before. It's coming in for some more work, sub and amp and speakers. So I'm hoping that becomes a simple job and we just get it done, dusted. That's the morning job in MX-5, and then in the afternoon I have got a 911 coming in, and then I should be jumping back on with a Mini, and we'll do some more stuff on that. So for now, fellas, have a good evening. Thank you for subscribing if you have. We've gone up massively, and I really do appreciate it, all the support and the kind words. I do read it, all of them, even the idiot comments, I read it all. But thank you anyway for the support, and I will speak to you tomorrow morning. See ya. Take care.
You told me you had subscribed to ASC Audio and now you've missed an episode. No!